Manchester City. Next up, Newcastle are at Arsenal. The big news, Loris Karius makes his Premier League debut for Newcastle. It's the first time he's played in the Premier League in almost 6 years. He started one competitive game in 3 years. That was the League Cup final for Newcastle. Martin Dubravka's ill, so he is in Newcastle's goal tonight. The man Arsenal have to beat to keep their winning run going. They've won 5 out of 5 in the Premier League, of course, since the turn of the year, the Gunners, and they've scored 21 goals in the process. They are up against Loris Karius in the Newcastle goal this evening. That's to come. First of all, the reaction to Manchester City getting over the line. Phil Foden, the difference. 16 goals now in all competitions this season. His first half strike has won it for Manchester City. They've gone within 1 point of the league leaders, Liverpool, in this fascinating race for the title. And that goal we looked at half-time, which was craftily worked. Erling Haaland played a big part in it, proved to be decisive in the end.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you go away from home and a team plays that well, one goal is sometimes what you need, and that's what City dealt with, and they had to come up with that one chance, because the other chances they created, they didn't really test the goalkeeper. So lucky enough with that ball over from Kovacic, and I think Haaland done really well to put his body in the way and get the shot off, and Phil Foden chasing in, trying to back up his striker, gets the rebound and taps it nicely, and that after that it kind of dimmed out in a lot of ways for them in respects of creating as many chances as they was at that point. And Bournemouth started to get a foothold in the game. It wasn't just his goal, though, tonight. Phil Foden, all-round, was magical for Manchester City, Alan.
Yeah, he was the best player on the park. I think everything he did was superb. I mean, the vision, and then to pull the pass off there into Haaland, of course, he misses it with his right foot. But, you know, it's just his balance and the way he receives the ball. He's so comfortable. He never looks really under pressure because of his ability, but I loved his movement here. I mean, his movement is fantastic because he anticipates where the ball's going to go, and he gets his reward by doing that and sticking it away. This time with his right foot, I mean, he said that's what I mean. The under pressure, the little fancy pass when he's looking away, but he's always aware of who and what's around him, and that's a sign of a very, very good player, of which he is no doubt.
And Sean, the other point is, Kevin De Bruyne, out of 26 league games this season, started 4 of them. There probably isn't another team in the land that could cope with that, but no one's really been talking about that, mostly because of this fella. Yeah, and I think he's one of the key factors to that reason, but I also think Julian Alvarez is as well, because he stepped into that role, and him and Phil Foden, there was a time we was playing similar, like 2-10s, and it was him and Phil, and they was just kind of going everywhere, and on top of that, causing a lot of problems. They was both scoring a lot of goals, and Phil's just carried on scoring those goals and creating those chances, and like Alan said,
I think he enjoys the bigger responsibility he's given when Kevin's actually not playing. I think he feels as if he's got to be that magic, you know, like Kevin De Bruyne creates so much for Manchester City and has done for such a long time. And when he's out of the team, I think Phil thinks that that's now his job to do that, and it's now his job to get on the ball like Kevin does, demand the ball, where everyone looks to try and find him, like they did with Kevin when he was a regular starter, and he's thriving in that position, in that responsibility, such as his presence in the team now. Everyone believes in him. We know what he can do. Pep believes in him because he puts him in all the time in that team now, and he's just a fantastic player.
Yeah, he's made no secret of the fact that that's where he wants to play in Central. As Alan says, you get the sense when he gets the opportunity, his message is, I'm going to show you exactly why.
Yeah, exactly that. But I think the biggest problem, and in a way, an Achilles heel for him, is that no matter where Pep puts him, he seems to give off the exact same performance. I think it may benefit him a little bit more if he played like he played today, but not just as good in every other position, because then for a manager, I think he would say, right, no, Central's his position. He's maybe not as good so wide, but you can play him literally anywhere across the front three, number 10, and you've seen him today in today's game coming into Rodri's position, collecting the ball from there and going forward as well. So he's got so much to his game. It's actually frightening.
But, as we said, they were asked serious questions in that second half. On another day, Bournemouth could have found a way through.
Well, they should have. I mean, we didn't really see this coming, so you've got to give them great credit for the way they reacted. Didn't really deserve anything from the first half, but this second half was so different. The way they got in behind, the way Tavernier got forward and missed a chance there. He also misses another one. Solanke was a big pain for them as well, with his ability going in behind, and he actually scuffs both of them there. Then Solanke gets on the end of this, and it's a good save from Edison. So they certainly asked lots of questions, did Bournemouth, in that second half.
This particularly was a heart-stopping moment.
Well, it must have been for Edison, but he's so calm and collective, and he managed to get a strong double-fisted punch and get it out the box. But I think after that, Bournemouth just kept coming and coming whenever they got the chance. And this header was unbelievably unlucky for him to miss. The ball in was superb, right weight. And I feel like he's done pretty much everything right, but I feel like when it hits the ground, it kind of spins away from the goal. So City got a little bit lucky in that incident there, I thought.
First time they kept back-to-back Premier League clean sheets since the first two games of the season. They have an enormous month coming up, though, of course, with Champions League, FA Cup this week, a chance to get into the quarter-finals, and the remaining Premier League games as well. Luton it is in the FA Cup, then the Manchester derby, then the second leg of Copenhagen. Of course, they're in a strong position for that. Then Liverpool away. We will be at Anfield that day. What a mouth-watering game. The last time Klopp and Pep will go head-to-head in the Premier League. A trip to Brighton. They've still got to play Arsenal, of course, and Villa. And then they go to Crystal Palace.
It's a very, very tough run. But like we've all been saying, they've been there before. They know what it takes. And sometimes even if you win ugly, that might maybe what they have to do through a few of these games, because they're not going to get it all their own way, as we've just seen in the Bournemouth game.
That run of 5 league games, Man United, Liverpool, Brighton, Arsenal, Villa, that will determine where they're going to be. If they come through that unscathed, it's practically theirs.
Wow. Okay.
I think we knew what we were in for today. Watching Bournemouth over the past few games, how they press high up the pitch, man-to-man, fight right to the end. We knew it was going to go 95, 96 minutes today, and it did that. So I think how we dealt with it is credit to us. It's not easy to come away and play man-to-man football and play how we usually do. So to find the spaces and use our threats as we did, and then obviously get another clean sheet is really pleasing for us. Always is creating overloads and creating space for the boys up front, if that's from our goal kick. Today we obviously went in more into the space into Erling and tried using that threat, and I thought it worked really well. And to be fair, I thought Bournemouth, stopped quite a lot. They get men back, and the recovery rooms are great. So we knew we had to play forward fast and take our chances. Definitely know what's coming before the game starts. But again, once the whistle blows, you can train all week sometimes, and they have a totally different setup. But luckily, obviously, the manager does his research really well, and there was a few different changes in how their system was today, so that allowed me to kind of break the line and get in behind a few times. But yeah, no, he really does instill it into us during the week, sometimes only a few days before a game, but we always have a clear game plan and an idea of what the team's going to do and what they're about, and I think he told us really perfect over the past few days.
Thoughts on the Bournemouth versus Manchester City match ending with City winning 1-0. The first half saw City dominating more of the play, but could not take their chances. That is with the exception of a goal scored in the 24th minute. Kovacic volleyed a fantastic overhead pass to Erling Haaland, who rolled the Bournemouth defender and shoot. The ball was parried by the goalkeeper, only to fall onto the path of Phil Foden, who anticipated the ball and tap it in for 1-0. In the second half, however, Bournemouth came out to play. They raided the Man City half numerous times and came very close to scoring a few times. Meanwhile, City are also trying to add to their tally, but could not. Especially in the ending minutes of the game, Bournemouth held Man City on the ropes. It was a stellar performance from the home team, but without reward, as City got the hard-fought 3 points and came to 1 point behind league leaders Liverpool.